No bauxite mining taking place in a designated protected area of the Cockpit Country, says the government.
I want to be very clear. There is no mining within the boundaries of the proposed Cockpit Country protection area. There is no mining and there is no plans for that.
But what about the rest of the area?
Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
In light of public concerns raised regarding mining in the Cockpit Country protected area, a little preview is fitting. The area is rich in biodiversity, having 37 of Jamaica's 60 species of amphibians and reptiles, and of the 106 vascular plant species found there, 101 are endemic to the area. The Cockpit Country is also known globally for its karst limestone landscape and is responsible for 40% of the island's surface water. On April 1st, 2004, which ironically is celebrated as All Fools' Day in Jamaica, the then PNP administration issued a 26 years special mining lease to Naranda JA Bauxite Partners, with word emerging not long after that this company was prospecting the Cockpit Country as a possible mine location. Many stakeholder groups have voiced their concerns and in some instances protested publicly against any proposed mining in the Cockpit Country. As a result, successive governments have sought to justify this with the establishment of the Cockpit Country Protected Area, which, when announced in 2017, was defined as 74,000 hectares, that is equivalent to 10% of Jamaica's land area, which they say covers the core of the Cockpit Country and more. They also claim it protects the water resources and also the historical sites. No, this is definitely not on the same scale of the boundary proposed by stakeholder groups as is shown on this map. In light of public disquiet, Prime Minister Andrew Holness in June of this year made the following declarations.
I'm always very sympathetic to the environmental cause. That is indeed my first inclination, my first response. But as Prime Minister, I am elected to look at all factors, look at the big picture, to take into consideration all the elements of the problem, to address all the complexity and come up with a solution that is sustainable. So our commitment as a government is to sustainability, and we will ensure that whatever the solution is to whatever the problems that arise, it will be a sustainable solution. The government's commitment and declaration still stands. There will be no mining in the area designated as the Cockpit Country protected area.
The boundary of the protected area is one thing, but the real issue is the non-inclusion of some areas and communities that are widely accepted to be part of the Cockpit Country within the protected area. This, coupled with news that a mining lease was granted to Naranda Bauxite Partners 2, now operating as New Day, to mine sections of St. Ann and Trelawney deemed Cockpit Country. According to the government, the company's bauxite mining activities are confined to two areas where special mining leases were granted. These are areas 172 and 165, which are not part of the area to be protected as the Cockpit Country. However, these areas are seen as part of the general Cockpit Country, and many argue that they are too close to the protected zone to avoid hydrological, geological, and ecological damage to the immediate environs. Of note, there is also a third area under the special mining lease. This is Area 173, which adjoins the area to be protected, but is not a part of the area protected, and currently no mining is taking place in that area. Okay, but will mining be allowed to take place there eventually? is the question everyone is asking. The government asserts that an environmental impact study has been commissioned in keeping with the requirements of the license to determine whether or not mining can be done in Area 173. Now, according to Government Senator Robert Nestor Morgan, who is also Parliamentary Secretary, the government determined what should be the Cockpit Country protected area. He said the area is to be gazetted by law, but before that can happen, there needs to be ground truthing, which he says requires a specific marking of the entire boundary of the 74,000 hectares and requires the forestry staff to walk each inch and decide what is in and what is out. According to him, it is even more difficult as the area to be protected by law is about 10% of Jamaica and has some of the most difficult terrain. Additionally, persons in the area have begun destroying the piles, which means that they may have to be redone. Senator Morgan further noted that Noranda employs about 700 plus people, including contractors, in addition to about 3,000 in communities that depend on its support, and that there is a quarterly payment of some $25 million that is paid to mining communities for environmental hazards that residents depend. But the questions concerned Jamaicans are asking includes: 1. Why would a special mining lease be granted for the Cockpit Country or adjoining areas to begin with, knowing its hydrological, geological, biological, ecological, and cultural importance to the nation? 2. Are areas 165 and 172 not part of the area generally accepted as the Cockpit Country, and why were they excluded from the protected area? 3. Why is mining taking place when the Cockpit Country protected area has not yet been gazetted by law? 4. Is it wise to mine areas so close to the so-called protected areas, knowing fully well the environmental impact of mining? Isn't this like saying you will be safe in the suburbs because crime only affects the urban areas? 5. Why was there no consideration of a buffer zone to the protected boundary to protect the entire ecosystem? 6. Is a temporary pursuit of monetary gains worth possible irreparable damage to the most ecologically diverse and important area of the country? And finally, can the government be trusted? What guarantees are there to ensure that this proposed 74,000 hectares boundary remains 74,000 hectares? Now, for the record, I am definitely for development, but only for sustainable development, not development at all costs. And I will end with a few more statements from Senator Morgan, who said, "Some did not know that the only established boundary of the Cockpit Country is what the government of Jamaica defined as the Cockpit Country Protected Area. Each group defines it in their own way for their own purposes. And here lies a problem. Every group defines it in their own way for their own purposes, including the government, I am afraid."
Teach them! Hey, yo, hello! Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them. Right here, Warlord representing.
Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below. Remember to like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. Follow me on social media and check out the suggested videos on screen. This is Teach saying, until next time, walk good, my friends.